You know, I'm really proud about in this film is that I didn't use an editor. I did it all myself. I was going to hire a guy named Sean Albertson, but I just heard too many bad things about him. So I decided to get this moviola and go in my garage and do it myself. Myself and my daughter. We cut that, we cut Rocky. And we cut Black Hawk Down and Gladiator, same weekend.
I was the editor on Rocky Balboa, and that was the first time I worked with Sly.
He came very well recommended. I thought, oh, okay, how important can an editor be? Well, he did a fantastic job.
We got along very well and hit it off creatively.
Sean cut the fight while I was still at the fight. I sent him back the footage the first day and the second day, and he came back with a rough choreography that we ended up using 80% of a year later, which is astounding. Because usually in the Rocky fights, you throw everything away and start from punch one.
And came out with a movie that we were all very proud of.
So needless to say, I was looking forward to working with him on this.
We didn't have as much time editing this film as we did on Rocky. We didn't have that luxury. So it was, you know, it was a bit of a struggle to get it finished on time.
Unfortunately, he couldn't be there because it's great to have the editor on the set, but it was just, it was a situation where it just wasn't financially viable enough. So he had to see the footage afterwards, like a day or two later, and he was flipping out. It was just so much footage.
The first part of my process when the footage is coming is I curl up into a ball and cry because the amount of footage that he sent to us was ungodly. Like, it's the most footage I've ever dealt with in my life.
Such an overwhelming mass of footage because we were shooting so many cameras.
He often had 8 cameras running on dialogue scenes alone, and the action sequences, I can't even begin to tell you.
But he was also flipping out the fact that it was different and realistic, and he got caught up in the spirit of things.
He wanted to be gritty, he wanted to be real, he wanted to be on the ground, he wanted to feel the pain of what the Korean villagers were feeling. He wanted it to feel like Rambo's point of view. Like this story is almost being told through Rambo's eyes, and that's the way he went about directing it, and that was his editorial directive.
You have a clear vision until somebody like spreads the equivalent of Vaseline over your eyes, and then it becomes hazy, and what you thought was going to work doesn't work. What you thought didn't work does work. What you thought was too long is too short. It just takes on a life of its own.
We had so much material and so many bits and pieces that we would pass sections off to each other. I would edit 4 sections of the final battle sequence, and my co-editor, Paul, would edit 4 sections of it.
We work really well together. We pass sequences back and forth. Sometimes if I get in a rut, I'll throw something to him, or if he gets in a rut, he'll throw something to me, and we'll kind of go that way.
It was really a hodgepodge of, like, we just need to get this done fast enough so that it's together by the time Sly gets back. Because with Sly, there is no such thing really as an editor's cut. He gets off the plane, and he got off the plane from Thailand after what he says is the most grueling shoot he's ever done. And we were taking bets as to whether he would show up the day he actually got off the plane. He did not show up that day, he showed up the next morning.
Sean needs friends.
We still had weeks of dailies coming in that had not been edited yet, but so we don't really get an editor's cut with Sly.
You're constructing something from nothing, and everyone has an opinion, and everyone has a rhythm and a tempo and a point of view. And I try to listen to everyone, I really do, because I think that you can become too close to the project. Ram. Cut.
The way Sly works, he'll have ideas and thoughts, and most of the time he's sitting in with Sean working on stuff, and then Sean will be working on stuff, and so if Sly's just sitting there, he can get up and walk right down the hall and come and sit with me and work on whatever sequence I happen to be working on at the time.
You take everything in it and then talk to Sean, talk to Paul and a few other people, then you have to, in the end, be able to live with yourself. So you do a cut, that you think is something you can be prideful about years from now, and then you see it 6 months later and you hate yourself. You go, why didn't I listen to the other guy?
We were a hard R rating, and I think it was very clear for months before the movie came out that we were not hiding from that.
I think that we would have been hard pressed not to do, for example, a PG-13 if we were financed by a studio all the way.
We had things in there that we were sure we would have to come back and pull out.
Thankfully, Avi Lerner gave me the green light and said, be truthful. Do what you have to do. Lionsgate came on board, John Feldheimer, and I appreciate that. So what you see here is a true depiction of Civil War as it's happening.
Actually, we submitted a cut to the MPAA that we assumed was going to get an NC-17 due to violence. They came back with an R rating. So the movie that got released is the director's cut. It is the NC-17 cut. So that's why on this DVD you will not see an NC-17 or a director's cut, because you're seeing it in the theater and that's what the movie is.